Hi, good morning. Welcome to Amber's Garden Corner. I'm Amber, and today we're going to discuss the Great Tomato Experiment. Well, here we are at week 11, and as you can see, we have been getting rain for the last week, and lots of fog, and definitely the feel of winter coming along, and the season changing. The varieties that I have picked with this were reputed cold weather, and I've managed to keep my tomatoes usually going. Last year I had them going until Thanksgiving, and now that said, what they will is they'll keep their fruit. They won't continue to develop lots and lots of fruit, but the rest of it will usually ripen up as long as we don't get a very heavy frost. I believe a lot of these varieties are pretty hardy down to like 30, 40. And then I am constantly suckering these guys and setting them up. So I've been slowly pruning them down more and more just to get them to work on the fruit production that they have. This is the one buried deep. So far, she has been the winner, I would say. She has much heavier, more developed fruit. We haven't had any ripeness, but as you can see in there, it's just pretty packed. They are starting to yellow up some. I've been getting yellow tomatoes and various other tomatoes around the garden. These were planted last, so they're running a little bit lower behind, but they also have the most sunny spot. I've just been very aggressively topping them off, pulling suckers, slowly reducing the vegetative growth down. And then our one that is planted on the side, as you can see, she is packed down. This side of the plant has actually starting to produce much more, and she has a lot on this side. I'm not displeased with how she's producing. I do believe that the deep has produced much more overall fruit. On the one on the side is definitely doing a good showing. However, I did accidentally break off a really big branch on this one. Whether or not that might have affected it, we're not sure. But she's doing very good. And for the one planted level, I've been topping her off, but she suddenly sprawled out like anything, and she has a bunch of fruit on her. Definitely not as much. But she's respectable. but I wouldn't say great. As you can see, she has a bunch of fruit in there, and I have to prune more down. So, let's take a moment here. So, again, this is the one planted deep. This is the one planted on its side. And she does have quite a few. And this is the one planted level. So let's go take a minute and sit down and talk. Oh, on my way to go sit down, I thought I would show you my roses blooming. And freesias blooming. Smells so good too. She's recovering and blooming as well. Okay. Well, so I thought I would discuss a little bit. Babette had asked me last episode of the Great Tomato Experiment, which one did I think was doing the best? And I'm sorry I didn't answer you. I really didn't want to post it yet. I was trying to actually wait for the end of this to give my opinion. I do lean, I was leaning towards the deep, which is a method I've been doing for years now. But I have occasionally done the other two. Either, you're quick in planting and you're busy and it's just, things happen. The one on the side, I was surprised that it didn't produce as well as I've expected it, because in the past I have thought it has been just as good as planting it deep. And perhaps I didn't let this one, bend over enough, and the limb that I accidentally broke off could have had an effect as well. However, while she is producing well, I would say that she's not producing quite as well as the one that I planted deep. One of the reasons why, now we're seeing, this was part of a result to see what kind of effect the different planting methods might have in my area. That's cooler, we're kind of a speedy, our season's not hugely long. And to see which one might have an effect, if it does have an effect, I found out with all of them, they all equally had as stout and strong stems as the one before it, as each one. However, I have seen that the one that was planted deep produced much more fruit. It also produced the size of the fruit more rapidly. The one that was planted on its side achieved height quickly. It started producing fruit. I believe it was like some of the first that started producing fruit, but it slowed down in overall production of the fruit. And the one that was planted deep, the fruit just got bigger faster. The one that we planted level, it was doing a good job. If I had a longer season, I think it would be okay. But because we do have a shorter season here, and not only a shorter season, but we also have cooler seasons here. You know, we don't have the heat that other parts of the world and country have. So, I prefer the larger tomatoes. They recommend more of cherry tomatoes and such like that, but, you know, I'm kind of stubborn, and there's usually a will if there's a way. And so far, I've found some good varieties that give me, you know, a decent size tomato, and it just takes a little bit longer. In fact, I was speaking with some of my garden friends that live locally and stuff like that, and everybody was like, yeah, it's pretty much expected that the tomatoes will come in late, if you can even get tomatoes. But those are just the things that I'm digressing. I'm sorry. Anyways, so the answer to the question, I have to say that the one planted deep has done the best for what looks like production-wise at this point. You know, whether or not there's a lot hiding inside the plant, I don't know. It's very well it could be. It's very dense. And I'm trying to prune it down, as well as remembering why I didn't like the tomato cages. But so those are some of the questions that are answered, I hope. The one on its side has done a good job. I think I might want to try that, actually, a comparison side by side again. Maybe I'll do that next year again. Only because I did, break off a huge stalk of that plant, and it had to recover, and perhaps it might have just as well. You know, my grandmother, she would plant them, and the suckers would go over, and when they leaned over, then she would rebury the limbs, and the bush would keep growing from there. Whether or not that's a good method, we'll have to see. Perhaps we'll explore that method. You know, this year I had a couple extra plants I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with, and I thought I would do that to compare this out. And I'm glad that I did, because I did learn some things. You know, seeing how it responded in the weather here. And the effect of the different planting, whether or not they're going to grow fast or grow slow. I'll still continue to do some progresses, you know, maybe harvesting and what the overall weight will do. And perhaps what each plant ended up harvesting in the long run. I don't know. If you think that's interesting, let me know. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. I just wanted to take this time to welcome all the new subscribers and thank all of our old subscribers for the support and the comments and the advice and everything. We very much appreciate it, and the wonderful friendships we've been developing. Have an awesome day.